All right, let's get right into it. When does asking for help cross that line into worship? It's a huge question, right? For some people, it's a total betrayal of their faith. But for others, it's just being smart, using all the tools at your disposal. So today, we're going to dive deep into this really complex and, let's be honest, pretty controversial topic.
This question, this is at the very heart of so many spiritual and religious debates. Are you committing a major sin by asking for a little help from, say, a lower deity or a spirit? Or are you just being practical? Are you just using every tool the universe has made available to you? It's a fascinating split in perspective.
So, to really unpack this, we're going to explore the perspective of one specific teacher. His name is Osman, also known as the blind Muslim yogi. Now, he brings a really unique and, I think, very logical viewpoint to the table, and we're going to break down his entire argument step by step. Okay, so first things first. Osman starts his entire argument not with some heavy, complex theology, but with something we can all understand, simple, everyday logic. He calls this concept the hierarchy of help.
Think about this for a second. It's so straightforward. When you're sick, you go to a doctor, right? When your car breaks down, you don't pray for the engine to fix itself, you take it to a mechanic. If you want to learn quantum physics, you find a professor. In every area of our lives, we seek out specialists. Osman's point is, why would the spiritual realm be any different? And this quote just hits the nail on the head. You go to these people because they have a skill, a power, a knowledge that you don't. You're not worshiping your mechanic when you ask him to fix your brakes. It's a transaction based on expertise. So the big question he poses is, if we accept this so easily in our physical world, why does it all of a sudden become a huge controversy when we apply that exact same logic to the unseen world?
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. We're going to take that simple logic and see how Osman extends it, pivoting from the world we can see and touch to the energies and beings that might exist just beyond our normal senses.
So, to really understand where he's coming from, you have to know a little about the man himself. My name is Osman, and I'm known as the blind Muslim yogi. I'm not just a philosopher, I'm a master-level bioenergy healer, and I use principles of quantum entanglement for telepathic healing. I've dedicated my life to this. We're talking 50 years of advanced yoga and meditation practice. I actually had my first samadhi, or profound enlightenment experience, when I was just 19. My entire approach is scientific and results-oriented. My specialty is in critical care and helping those with terminal illnesses, and my whole mission is to simplify these ancient, powerful sciences so they can benefit everyone.
So, building on that lifetime of experience, I extend that simple hierarchy of help to include beings that exist on what you could call different frequencies. Planes of reality that our 5 physical senses just aren't built to pick up.
And this idea isn't as out there as it sounds. Look at this. Our reality is completely filtered by our biology. A bee sees a world of ultraviolet patterns on flowers that are invisible to us. A dog hears sounds at frequencies we can't even imagine. Just because we can't perceive something doesn't mean it isn't real. You hear neuroscientists like Andrew Huberman talk about this all the time, how our brain literally constructs our reality from a very limited stream of sensory data. So the argument is, why couldn't other, perhaps more evolved beings, exist in the same way, just outside our very narrow sensory bandwidth? Okay, so you might be thinking, what proof is there? Are there other traditions that see the world this way? Well, let's look at some of the examples and parallel ideas from different cultures and thinkers that support this concept.
Now, this is definitely one of the more extraordinary examples I point to. There is a sect in Indonesia that claims they can actually capture what they call lower frequency entities, spirits, essentially, inside bottles. I present this as a form of tangible, if, unconventional evidence that these non-physical beings aren't just concepts, but can actually be interacted with.
And you know what's incredible? Modern science is starting to catch up. I often say that quantum physics is finally proving what mystics have known for thousands of years. The idea of other dimensions, of reality not being what it seems. These are no longer just spiritual ideas. They're becoming scientific conversations. You see thinkers like Deepak Chopra constantly bridging this gap, showing how ancient wisdom and quantum theory are pointing to the same truths.
And what's really fascinating is that this idea is everywhere once you start looking. In Tibetan Buddhism, there are countless modern-day stories of the deity Tara appearing to help people in need. Within certain traditions of Islam, people visit the graves of saints to ask for intercession, not to worship them, but to ask these powerful souls for help. Even a contemporary mystic like Sadhguru, who you might have seen on Joe Rogan or Diary of a CEO, makes this distinction. He acknowledges a creator, but calls other entities power beings, useful forces, but not the ultimate divine that you should worship.
So we've looked at the logic, the science, and other traditions. What's the big takeaway from all of this? This really brings us to the core message that I try to share in my work.
This quote is really the heart of my philosophy. It's a call for humility. Given how little we truly perceive and understand about the vastness of reality, who are we to definitively say that someone else's path is wrong? The most intelligent and honest approach, I believe, is to be pluralistic, to be open to the possibility that there are many, many valid paths to truth.
So if there's one thing to take away from this explainer, it's this. Seeking help from a higher intelligence, a deity, a saint, an angel, it doesn't automatically equal worship. It can be a very practical act. It's about tapping into a vast hierarchy of specialized knowledge and power that's available to us, just like you would with a doctor or a professor.
Now, I have to be absolutely crystal clear on this point. My bioenergy healing work is intended to be complementary. It's designed to support and enhance, but never, ever to replace the incredible work of traditional medical doctors and treatments. It's an and, not an instead of.
If any of this has sparked your interest, I've tried to make my work accessible in many ways. You can start with my free 5-minute yoga and meditation program. It's available for download on my website. My YouTube channel is also packed with unique techniques and deep dives, all for free. For those who want to go deeper, I offer paid services like live lessons on my Patreon and, of course, the premium bioenergy healing. That service is at a premium level because of the 50 years of intense, rigorous practice, sometimes up to 18 hours a day, that has gone into developing this ability and my high success rate with very serious cases.
You can find everything we just talked about, the free program, links to my YouTube, my Patreon, and information on my healing services all in one place. Just visit my website, yogawellness786.com.
And I'll leave you with this final thought to really chew on. If it's true, if our senses are really only giving us a tiny, tiny sliver of the full picture of reality, what else is out there? What kinds of help, what forms of knowledge, power, and assistance might we be completely missing out on simply because we haven't yet learned how to tune in?